Schools in Spain will start the admission very soon. So this is the month of July. September, schools will start opening up their spring intake, which is February 2027. So if you're someone who's looking at studying in Spain or moving with family to Spain, then this video is for you. Watch the end because I'm giving you a cost breakdown of the tuition fee, the POF, the accommodation, all that you need to know, for the Spain application admissions. Now, first of all, let me say one thing before I actually go further. Spain requires legalization, all right, your academic document before you can apply for visa. We have someone that we're actually working with. Luckily, he got admission this year, but because of legalization date, he wasn't able to move this year. It's up to next year. So what am I saying? Trying to say this: if you're looking forward to moving to Spain, trust me, you start booking the appointment right now, because when it gets closer to the new year, appointment date gets so scarce. Use that as a tip from me. All right. So let's dive into the core of this video, which is now let's look at the tuition fee. Remember, there is two universities, two options. It's either you are someone who is looking at the public university, or you are someone who's looking at the private university. Now, what is the downside of these two options? One, the public universities is a little bit cheaper, and the private universities is a little bit pricey. When I mean pricey, I mean expensive. Now, there's also another downside as to these two places as well. One, the downside is for the public universities, it's rare and difficult to find English courses or English language taught programs. Why the private university, there's multiple options to choose from. Now let's look at the range of tuition fee. Now I've made a note on my phone here. All right, so I'll be looking at this note and I will be pinpoint from it and give you guys. First, let me speak about the tuition fee. For public universities now, the tuition is from 1,500 euros to 4,000 euros. Now, what are these public universities? For example, there's a bunch of them. What personally I would advise is, after watching this video and you take some few things, possibly take some few notes, I want you to open Google right now, search for public universities in Spain. When you search public university in Spain, you see a list of public universities. Now, your job right now is to check each of these programs, their courses, which is number one; two, the application deadline, which is two; the application fee, which is three; then the language taught. Is it in Spanish or is it in English, which is very, very important. Then the final one is the requirement. What is needed to apply? Remember these 5 points I picked out. That's what you should do. All right. Now, example of public universities in Spain, you're looking at the University of Barcelona, the Autonomous University of Barcelona, and a bunch of them as well. These are public universities in Spain. Now, let me go to private universities in Spain. For example, public universities in Spain, the tuition fees from 5,000 to 10,000. All right. So there is for example of this private university is the Business School of Barcelona, and a bunch of them as well. The tuition fees from 7,000 to 9,000, 5,000 to 7,000, 7,000 to 9,000. So it's doable. If you are someone who can trust it, when I mean trust it, is if to you is if you is budget friendly, like the tuition fee, something you can do, why not? You can go for it. Remember, tuition per academic here, all right? Something you can do, then go for it. Now, let's assume now that you have found the school you want to apply to. All right. Now you know the date, you know the tuition fee. Now, what is next? What do you put into consideration? The application fee. Now, this is where the application fee comes in handy. Now, what is the average tuition fee? The average application fee in these countries, 100 euro mass. All right. So 100 euros is your best bet that you can budget. Now, one more tip for you when it comes to application. This is something I will always tell to our clients, people we are working with, and people that have booked one-on-one call with us. Now, what is that tip? That tip is you should budget. Your target should be applying to 1 school, 2 school, 3 school, 4 school. The goal here is to spread your tentacles in different places. Like, it's more like not having your eggs in one basket. So if one breaks, you'll have one and in another basket. All right. What am I trying to say this in plain language? I'm saying that you need to position yourself in a way whereby if one school doesn't give you admission, another one will. Remember, there's only 1 year to apply. All right. So if you miss one one school, you don't want to waste another year waiting for another year to apply. So that's why I'm saying you need to apply to at least one, two, three. At least if one doesn't go through, another one will go through. Now let's assume one doesn't go through, two doesn't go through. Likely the third one might go. It's not a guarantee, but there's possibilities that it might happen. Spread your eggs in different places. All right. Now, let's assume in the tuition fee now, for example, let's say you manage to find a public school and the tuition fee is between 2,000 to 4,000. Let's use the round figure 4,000. All right. Now you are targeting three schools. That is one school is 100 euros, right? That means 100 times three schools you want to make application. That's 300 euros. And you know at the back of your mind that the tuition fee is 400, is 4,000. That is what? 4,300 euros outside. All right? That is one part of the game done. Now, let's say to the glory of God, you're able to get admission. That one is out of the way. Now, when you get admission, what next? You pay the 4,000. I'm using public universities here, for example, if you manage. But if you don't manage to find, you have space, you have private university, fine and good as well. That's on the other side. Now, let's say you imagine to get admission, either private or public universities. That's outside. Now, where do you move to? What do you need? I've not even talked about that, the document you need to apply. Which document you need to apply? Your bachelor's certificate, original transcript, motivation letters as well. If you have IELTS as well, language proficiency, perfect. If you have recommendation letter, perfect as well. Your transcript, all these things, amazing. All right. Now, if you're going for bachelor's, the same thing apply to you. All right. Now, after I've gotten admission, which is one side, what next do you need to do now? This is where you look at visa preparation document. One, the key thing now in this visa preparation is your POF. Now, how much do you need? For Spain, it's pretty easy. At least once you pay your tuition fee for the academic year, that's one side. At least they need you to show at least 8,000 something euros. But to me, I say to be on the safer side, 9K should be fine. Do you know why? Because you're putting into consideration inflation rate as well, based on where you're coming from, based on your country. 9K is good for you. All right, 9K puts you in a better chances. Let me say something about this POF again. I've had so many conversations with people. We have tried to articulate these things in so many ways, but people still tend not to understand. Now, this is what I'm trying to say. Let me say it again. When you are having your POF, that is your proof of funds, should always your credits should always what complement your debit, or let me say the other way around. Your debit should complement what your credit. All right. So I don't know, maybe if you don't understand, maybe there's a video I've made actually, you can as well try to understand, but let me explain better. For example, you have an incoming. All right, let's say for example, you're from Nigeria, you have an incoming of 8 million in your account, and your outgoing, which is your debit, is 50,000, 200,000. It doesn't complement that 8 million credit at all. It's not realistic. Now, how does it complement it? For example, you have 8 million coming in, which is your credit. Your debit should be at least 1.22 million. This is how it complements. It's being realistic. All right. Technically, when someone receives 8 million, the person will not blow the money at once. The person will not end up spending that 8 million. At least, the person will need to spend at least 2% or at least 1% of that money. That is what I'm saying. 1.2, 1 million, 2 million debit complement that 8 million. That is how it becomes a real thing. That's how it becomes something that is being realistic. All right, this is only way I can explain it to you. But if you don't understand, you can rewind the video, try to digest what I just said, then you understand what I'm trying to say here. All right. And one more thing again, after the POF is taken care of, what do you need again? Travel itineraries, insurance. Now, let me speak more about the travel itineraries. I know this has to do with your flight reservation, hotel reservations as well, insurance, letter of introduction, explain to the embassy what you want, booking visa submission date and all that you need for your visa application. Now, let's assume now, to the glory of God, now you've managed to get the visa. Now, you need to put into consideration how much you are paying to fly to Spain. The airline you're using contributes a lot, how much they are charging you at a particular point. Two, again, the accommodation you're going to pay in Spain. For example, if you're using school hostel, which is cheaper, this is something to communicate with your school. If you're living outside, maybe if you have a room, maybe you want to rent outside, possibly you should factor in from 500 euros per month, 450, 500. It depends on where you're going to be. All right, if it's in Madrid, trust me, at least 500 should be your best bet. If it's in Barcelona as well, 500. But if it's in other places, then 400, 450, 500 should be your best bet. All right. So let me look at my note once more. I have a couple of things I need to share here with you guys. And you also need to consider miscellaneous as well, feeding, transportations, running up and down here and there, taking care of documentations as well. These are things that you need to put into consideration. But hey, remember, you can move with family in Spain, all right? Spain allows you to move with dependent. So if you want to move with dependent, all right, this is something that you need to put into consideration. How much you're going to spend, how much you need to have, and other things that are composed with it. One last details for you is the authentication of document, legalization, PCC as well. Remember, to apply for your visa, you authenticate. For example, if you're from Nigeria, Ministry of Education, first, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, second, and legalization is Spanish Embassy, and your PCC. I cannot actually tie a figure to this because the prices changes. All right, but the key thing that you should bear in mind, you should have in mind is one, if you're targeting public universities, no is from 1,500 to 4,000. All right. If you're targeting private universities, no is from 5,000 to 10,000. That's for tuition fee. And again, the POF at least 9K puts you in a good position. All right, then the legalization, authentication, this is something that fluctuates. I cannot tie an amount to it because it changes. For example, if you are doing it yourself, the price is a little bit lesser. If you are paying someone to do it, it's a little bit pricey. So I cannot really tie a figure to it. The only thing I cannot really tie a figure here is the tuition fee, which I've mentioned, the POF, which I've mentioned, the accommodation, which is something I've mentioned as well. All right, the miscellaneous is something that I cannot really say because it factors in your feeding, factors in your transportation as well. Buying of clothes, medications, and all these things. I cannot tie a figure to it. But at least you should know yourself, like you should want to put a figure in these things. But the key things you need to consider is the POF one, the tuition fee, application fee, all right, the accommodation. If you can tackle this for you are good to go, then Spain is calling you. Remember, September intake is going to open very soon. That is for February. That's for spring, all right, which starts September. Start to do the research right now. Have schools in mind. Have try to shortlist schools you want to apply to and know what to do next when the application starts. And I hope someone use this video as a guide in making that decision. All right. So if you want to know more, maybe if you want to talk to us, or maybe if you want us to handle any of these things for you guys, you're more than welcome to let's reach out to us. Send us an email, which is on the video description. All right, the email is there, or the link to book a call, and one of the team will reach out to you and speak to you as well. All right, so guys, this is for the video. If you have any questions, you are more than welcome to leave it on the comment section, and one of the team, possibly me or any one of us that see the question, will respond to you as well. And I hope you start to prepare now. One last detail for you: the key to moving abroad is early preparation. This is July. This is July, guy, and this is why I'm actually making this video, to let you know. If you start early, definitely you might be in Spain February next year. All right, so the key to move to abroad is starting early, because it requires a lot of effort, a lot of time, documentations, paying attention to details as well, and it gives you time to relax, evaluate yourself, weigh your options, look into your finances, one, look into your documentations. You don't rush things as well, so that you don't miss important things. This is what I'm trying to say in essence. Apart from that, nothing else. Subscribe to the channel, support the movement, give it a thumbs up, and share with your friends and family as well. Bye, guys.